Hey everybody, Mr. Seward here, and today the purpose of this little video is to talk to you about how to go about making this base here. Might make some mistakes, might do some good stuff. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, here we go. This is the LED sign project, and I'm just gonna backspace a couple things here. And we have to create one of these bases for our LED sign. Now, these are kind of plain. They're not anything other than just basically a hollowed out hockey puck. You can do that if you like, but if you want to give it a little more creativity, a little bit more pizzazz, then what you can do is you can take a look at our design brief here. And it says the base must be 4 inches by 4 inches by 1.5 inches high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Inventor here, and I've already started my Inventor up, and I'm going to hit Part, and I am going to create our base. And let's see, I want to see something here. Let's go here. Well, all right. Anyways, so we know that our base can only be inside of a 4x4 box that is 1.5 inches tall. So I'm going to start a sketch, and I'm going to put it on this lower plane right here. And rather than doing a circle or a rectangle or whatever, I'm going to do a polygon. And I have two different kinds of polygons here. I have inscribed and circumscribed. I'm going to use the inscribed one, which is the default. We have here the number of facets that the polygon can have. So I want this to have 6. So I'll just come out here and I'll click, and I'm going to pull this out, and I'm actually going to just make that a little crooked, and that's sort of on purpose. Now, I'm going to go up to my constraints, and I'm going to click on horizontal, and I'll select that line. That didn't come out exactly as I wanted, but I think it'll work. And then I'm going to do a dimension from corner to corner here. I'm going to right click. Come on, you. There we go. And I'm going to say aligned. Good. And I'm going to make this a 4-inch dimension. All right. So now I have my base created, the bottom of it. I am going to finish the sketch, and I will extrude this up my 1.5 inches. Okay. I'll say okay, of course. And I'll hit the home icon so that I'm looking at this from the isometric view. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go to the bottom of this, and you can do the next step a couple different ways. I'm going to suggest that you use the shell command. Now, shell command is right here. And the reason we're doing this is, and I will tell you right now, that the base walls can be no thicker than 1/8 of an inch. So that's an important parameter here. So Alt Tab back to this. So remove faces. The thickness is going to be 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to click on the bottom of this here, and then I'm going to say OK. So that gives me, and I'll rotate this around a little bit here. You can see that now we have a wall thickness here of 1/8 of an inch, and also on the bottom. So back to my home view. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, do a sketch. I'm going to put it on this top surface because we have to make a slot in this base so that this thing will hold the sign. So the sign itself is going to be made out of plexiglass that is 1/8 of an inch thick, which is 0.125 inches. And we want to do a nice job with that. So here I'm going to use the 2-point center rectangle. And I'm going to click on the center point of this thing, and I'm just going to pull this out. And I have the blue text right now. So I want this to be 2 inches. And I'll dimension this guy right here, 2. And we're going to make that 0.125. And I can finish my sketch. And then I'm going to do the extrude. This is going to be a cut. And it's going to go through all. And I'll just say, okay. So now I have a slot in the bottom of this that goes all the way through this uh, part. Now, back to our little sample here. The next thing is we're going to put an LED into the bottom of this. So the LED has a particular height. Um, I believe it's 0.3 inches. I'm going to pause here for a second and then I'll come back. Okay, so I just went off and measured my LED. And by the way, just so you know, in the Google Classroom for this assignment, there is a drawn LED already. You're probably going to need this because of you're going to need to put this into an assembly drawing later on. So you might want to download this LED sign uh, .ipt and be able to use that. Okay, so back to our project here. Okay, what happened? Here we go. There's our part. Uh, you know what? I forgot something. When I did this extrude, and I'm gonna double click this and activate this extrude. I want to put a taper on this. Right now, the sides go straight up and down, but I'd like them to be a little bit angled. So let's change our taper here. I'm going to put a 5-degree taper in, and I'll hit enter. And let's look at this from the front. And what you can see is it angles in this like this on the sides. But if I want to flip it to go the other direction, I can do that. And I'm just going to say, okay. And I'll go back to the isometric. Yeah, that's kind of not too bad. All right. Now on to the bottom of our little plate here. So I'm going to flip this to the bottom and shift and hold. And excuse me, I've got to put a hole, or excuse me, I got to put a little pad on here that is going to uh, allow me to correctly space the tab, or not tab, the LED inside of the tab. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm going to start a sketch and I will put it right on that surface there. And I'm just going to use the circle tool here. And I've got a little yellow dot right in the middle of our part. And I want to make this a diameter of zero point 0.5 inches. And I will finish this sketch. Now, I am going to use the extrude tool here. And I just measured my LED, and the LED is 0.33 inches tall. And I want the dome of my LED when I put it into this little contraption that we're working on right now. I want the dome to just be at the surface of the part here. So the height of this is going to be uh, 0.33, which is the height of the LED, minus the thickness of the base, which is 0.125. So for my height here, for distance, I'm going to put in, maybe, let's see, 0.33 minus 0.125, and that's going to give me my uh, my little boss for the bottom of this part. Now, I have to put a hole through the center of this little spot, okay? And the diameter of my LED is 0.195. So I'm going to go to start a sketch. I'm going to go right on that surface. I'll zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to draw a circle from that center point. I'm going to make that 0.195. Enter, finish my sketch. Now this time it's going to be an extrude, and it's already selected that for me, but it's going to be a cut, and the cut is going to go through all, and I'll say okay. So right now I've got my LED holder. That's what this is, this little piece right here. And what I want to do is I'm going to come up to this top surface, and I want to, let's see, what are we going to do here? Da-da-da. Oh, I know. Sorry. We're going to put a sketch on the top of here. All right. I'm going to zoom in on this. So you see this gray over here on the right hand side of the hole and on the left? We want that to go away. Now, very simple way to do that. So I have put a sketch on the top surface of my base. I'm going to use my rectangle tool, but I'm going to use just a regular 2-point rectangle in this case. I'm going to go out to the edges of my rectangle and draw that, and I will finish that sketch. Then I'm going to do an extrude, and this is also going to be a cut, and it's going to go through all. And then I'll say, okay. Now, if I got this right, and I do, I'll have my little uh, diameter here for putting the LED into, and uh, getting it held in place. It'll give us a good gluing surface, I guess is the best way to put it. So that is drawing the base. You can do whatever you like with the base. Uh, any shape you like, as long as it fits in a 4x4 by 1.5 inch tall area.